marketer for a mid-sized business. And this is Tyler. Tyler's the head of HR and trains the team for that very same company. And who can forget Whitney? Whitney is a wizard with project workflow. This is Tyler. But Tyler's the head of HR and trains the team for that very Monday. Marcy's time for marketing is monopolized in multiple meetings with her boss. On Tuesday, Tyler's training time was overtaken by tedious HR tasks. And on Wednesday, Whitney was welcomed to work by 638 emails. Make that 639. But then, the three of them discovered Capterra, the best place to find business software to help their workday woes. They instantly
That time again, late night crypto talk, Bitcoin. Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you are listening in from. I see first up from New Orleans is Stacy, Bill Childers, Andrea Bernard, Marty Bali Juarez from Victoria, Texas. Elijah Morgan. Welcome, welcome. Lorna Vasquez from Hanford, California. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space. And I don't say it just because it sounds good. I say it because it has saved my butt time and time and time again. Those rules are, number 1, cryptocurrency education is key. It is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Find your vehicle, take action, and stay focused. Do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can distract you. You can't be a part of everything. Even Warren Buffett passes up great opportunities. Now, this does not mean or guarantee that you're going to have success. What it will do is at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing started up. I only have about 2 articles that I'm going to cover tonight. Where's my Bluetooth? Yeah, let me get my Bluetooth in. And the first one up. Uh-oh, got a VIP. Sean the Voice Robinson. What's going on, Sean? Ray Fountain from Cleveland. Brenda from the OKC. Welcome. All right, we're going to talk about a critic. Yeah, not everybody out there believes in Bitcoin. There are still the naysayers. The people that haven't realized yet that they're going to be on the wrong side of history. Latifah from Delaware. What's going on, Latifah? Okay. This critic says Bitcoin is anything but useful, says ex-Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen. And tonight we're going to be focusing on the Federal Reserve. But is it any surprise that somebody from the Federal Reserve is against Bitcoin? Shouldn't be. So can they back up why? Bitcoin is anything but a useful store of value, former U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen stated in a speech Monday, Canadian financial news outlet Kitco reported October 29th. Speaking during an interview at the 2018 Canada FinTech Forum in Montreal, Yellen, who rose to fame in the cryptocurrency community last year as the target of the now infamous Buy Bitcoin session at a House Financial Services Committee meeting, doubled down on her previous criticism of the asset. Wow, I mean, it's one thing to be wrong and you're ignorant. You just don't know any better. It's another to be wrong and then double down on it when proven wrong. She's going to stick to her guns. She says, it has long been thought that for something to be a useful currency, it needs to be a stable source of value, and Bitcoin is anything but, she claimed, continuing. It's not used for a lot of transactions, it's not a stable source of value, and it's not an efficient means of processing payments. It's very slow in handling payments. It has difficulty because of its very decentralized nature. False. See, I was with her all the way up until that last statement there. It's difficulty because of its very decentralized nature. That is not true. If you go by her statement as factual, then you would have to also claim that the internet has no value to it. Because if you go back to 1992 and 93, and you were to say, you know, the internet's not used for a lot of transactions, it's not a stable source of value, it's not an efficient means of processing payments, it's very slow. I mean, remember AOL dial-up? You weren't going to be watching Netflix videos on the internet in 1992. And then, the very last sentence, it has difficulty because of its very decentralized nature. Well, the internet back in those days was also decentralized. There's no one country that can control the internet. At best, they may be able to control access to the net, but they can't control the net. So if the blockchain is the internet version 2.0, and the internet has proven to be successful, therefore, The blockchain will also be successful, built on top of the internet's technology. It's an upgrade. But it is the internet 1993. Understand this. She's playing on words. And you know what? And I say this again, I don't think Janet Yellen is ignorant at all. I think she knows exactly what Bitcoin is and has known before everybody else. I think she's even probably a Bitcoin owner, secretly, hoarding a bunch of crypto coins. They can't let you know that. Having been present during Yellen's speech, Satoshi Portal CEO Francis Pouliot was among the first to denounce her words on social media, describing them as the official NPC, which means non-player character, guidelines to Bitcoin FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, courtesy of the Fed. I like that. Play on words there. The official NPC guidelines to Bitcoin, courtesy of the FED. That's clever. At a press conference in December of last year, Yellen similarly called Bitcoin a highly speculative asset and not a stable source of value. She also noted that the Fed was not seriously considering the concept of a state-issued digital currency at that time. Oh, that is a very strong statement. You got to read these things like a lawyer. Words mean something. There's things that you can call a non-denial denial. See, here's what she said. The Fed was not, and then she used an adjective, seriously considering. Why didn't you just say the Fed was not considering the concept? By throwing in the word seriously, that means that marginally, they are. What's the opposite of seriously? We're not seriously considering it, but does that mean that a little bit you are? The concept of a state-issued digital currency at that time, another word there, at that time. Does that mean that in a couple of months or next week or tomorrow, you will be seriously considering it? Read between the words here. We already know they are. It's called the Fed coin. They've been working on it for years. Commentators have taken Rubini to task over his comments, arguing his lack of understanding of decentralized. Oh, wait, I jumped ahead. My bad. Hold on. Yellen's speech Monday echoes not only her own previous comments on crypto, but also those made earlier this month by economist Nouriel Roubini. Hey, I tore him apart. I wish. Get me on stage and debate with these critics. Oh, I'd have so much fun. And this was a Nobel Prize, Economics Prize winner too. An outspoken cryptocurrency naysayer who foresees the entire ecosystem. How can he foresee the entire crypto ecosystem collapsing, but he's failing to see the United States economic system collapsing? I mean, even JP Morgan stated that it's an 80% chance that the United States economy will go into a recession bigger than 2008 in the next 3 years. But this guy can't figure it out. So commentators have taken Roubini to task over his comments, arguing his lack of understanding of decentralized cryptocurrency has led him, like Yellen, to draw false conclusions about its resilience. I beg to differ. I do not believe that they have a lack of understanding. I believe that they understand it very well. These are people that will not say something public that they don't have an understanding of. What they're doing is misdirection, purposely leading a false narrative. So it says, I can see a bubble when there is one. And to me, this entire space has been the mother and the father of all financial bubbles, and it's going to burst. Really? Did you foresee the stock market collapsing like it did yesterday? You didn't see that one coming. He told Cointelegraph during an appearance at Block Show Americas in August. Block Show Americas. Speaking of, in the very, very near future, I'm going to give it 48 hours, maybe 24, depending on how excited I am. I have a major announcement. Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Give me 24 or 48 hours. Anyways, let's go on to the next article. Speaking of the Fed, Ron Paul, tax-free crypto could help avoid a Fed-created recession. Tax-free crypto. Okay, let's break this down. Ron Paul ran for president on the libertarian ticket, which means by definition of libertarians, he's a conservative. On the far right, kind of on the far right, more on the anarchist side of the Republican Party. And those libertarian anarchist type folk have been talking about a blockchain or distributed ledger technology or cryptographic technology. They called it something different back in the day, but they've been dreaming of this since the 70s. So when you hear we talk about that Bitcoin, the white paper came out in 2009, 2008, 2009. What you don't understand is that it's been being worked on for decades. The technology just wasn't there to make it possible. First version of the internet came out in like the 70s. Pentagon was using something like that. So I like the word tax-free. That got my attention. Tax-free crypto? Hell yeah. Oh man, if we could live tax-free on crypto. But he says it can help avoid a recession. But what does he say before a recession? Fed created recession. What do you mean by that? As I stated, I already know a recession's coming. Ron Paul knows a recession's coming. Everybody seems to know a recession's coming except the Fed. But Ron's taking it a step further and says, Fed created recession. Why would the Fed want to create a recession? I'm not going to go into that part tonight. That's a good question. Austrian school economist says the government should abolish tax on cryptocurrencies. I agree with that one. I give that a standing ovation. Noted Federal Reserve critic and crypto proponent Ron Paul has, not for the first time, criticized the central bank, saying government-created currency could lead to what he calls a Fed-created recession. The libertarian-leaning economist, who served as a U.S. representative for more than a decade, said in a blog post titled, "Trump is right. The Fed is crazy." Okay. I got to be careful how I say this because people can be using editing software to say something and say Brandon said this when it's out of context. But I agree with Trump on this. I agree. Trump is right. The Fed is crazy. Somebody's going to edit that out. Say Brandon said Trump is right and leave it at that. Trump is right. The Fed is crazy. That the only way to avoid a pending crisis is to abolish the monetary madness, which includes the taxing of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I agree with that. I'll give Trump a standing ovation. He pulls something like that off. Get rid of the Fed, and at the same time, Bitcoin is not going to be taxed. Hell, I'm only living off of Bitcoin. The first steps are passing the Audit the Fed bill. I haven't heard of that one. Allowing people to use alternative currencies and exempting all transactions in precious metals and cryptocurrency from capital gains taxes and other taxes. I agree. I'm getting excited reading this right now. This is what I'm talking about. Out of 200, I remember this one. Out of 250,000 cryptocurrency traders, less than 100 pay taxes. I'm telling you guys now, pay your taxes. I'm being recorded, so I'm watching what I say. Pay your taxes. But in 2017, 250,000 crypto traders in the United States and less than 100 paid taxes. If you don't think the Fed's going to get you at some point, they will. Paul, who ran for president in 1998 and whose son Rand is a senator, has long argued precious metals such as gold and silver are a better reserve currency, saying the manipulation of fiat money through tools such as quantitative easing has the Fed Reserve System doomed for failure and a major catastrophe will lead to a Fed-created recession and the end of fiat currency. Oh, not only will it be a Fed-created recession, but the end of fiat currency. So is that what the Fed is after? Because I still say, where's the gold at Fort Knox? Is it all still there? When was the last time that was audited? Everybody wants to run and try to audit Tether and audit exchanges. What about the Fed? Have they been audited in the last 60 years? But now I'm just thinking about this. If the Fed creates the recession with the intent of ending fiat currency, and then they come out with their own digital currency called the Fed coin, that's just another level of control with them sitting on top. That makes major sense to me. I understand what they're doing now. The Fed is now pursuing a policy of quantitative tightening that has taken its balance sheet down to $4.17 trillion from a $4.5 trillion peak. Now, with cryptocurrencies becoming more mainstream, Paul has added them to the store of value basket. Despite some crypto evangelists such as Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, who believe Bitcoin will replace gold, Paul has said in the past that the two are not mutually exclusive, and I agree. It's not one or the other. It's conceivable that cryptocurrencies using blockchain tech and a gold standard could exist together, rather than posing an either-or choice. I agree with that. Different currencies may be used for certain transactions for efficiency reasons, Paul wrote. Paul has become such a favorite among the crypto community that in 2013, someone created Ron Paul Coin as a gesture for standing for financial freedom, economic transparency, and for promoting the legalization of competing currencies. All that is taking us back to how it used to be in the United States. Yeah, you didn't know that? The federal government, which wasn't called the federal government at the time, but the 13 colonies had their own currency that was deemed illegal by the British Crown. What you doing over there, colonizers? We don't recognize your money. You got to go with the British pound. And the colonizers were like, screw that. We're using gold and pelt and fox skin and buffalo skin. We're trading like that. Anyways, this will be very interesting to see how this plays out. And honestly, it is happening much faster than I expected. Much faster. This whole Fed thing, Donald Trump is going down this road. I mean, the last time a president went down this road was John F. Kennedy. That's all I'm going to say about that. So anyways, that is it for Late Night Crypto Talk for today. I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. We had a very, very successful Philadelphia event, Bitcoin boot camp. And then we're now gearing up for November 10th and November 17th in Chicago. I will be there on the 17th for an event talking about the blockchain and crypto, green mining. Lives are going to be changed over that one. Hope you guys got your machines by now. Then we got a Seattle boot camp in January. I got some big news in the next 48 hours. I can't wait. If anything, I would say so right now, but some things need to be done first. And I can't wait for that. Anyways, we will be back tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk. See you all then. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.